Hello, my friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you don't know me, my name is Sarah Chatello McGuire from Sassy Paper Crafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today's card is this one. And I am loving the stamp set Full of Love. That is what we have been talking about, or we will be talking about all this week. This stamp set is so great for coloring. So today I'm going to use this stamp and we're going to do a little Stampin' Blends coloring. So if you would like to see how to make this card, please keep watching. So the first thing we're going to do is color. So I just have a scrap piece of basic white here. I'm going to take my Memento ink pad and I'm going to ink up the stamp from the Full of Love stamp set, making sure I get it good and inked. And then I'm just going to flip it over. And with bigger stamps like this, I like to take the ink pad directly to the stamp. It's a lot easier to see that I've gotten all the little nooks and crannies. So I'm just going to stamp this onto my basic white, not pushing too hard. It's a little crooked, but that's okay. We are going to be die cutting it out. I'm just going to move that to the side. And I have 3 colors of Stampin' Blends here. I have Granny Apple Green, Bermuda Bay, and Flirty Flamingo. So I'm going to start with the Granny Apple Green. And actually for this card, I don't even use the dark Granny Apple Green. So I'm just going to set that to the side. Our Stampin' Blends have 2 ends. There's a brush tip end and a fine pen tip end. I'm going to use the brush tip and I'm just going to color in where I want the Granny Apple Green. So now I'm done coloring with the Granny Apple Green, and you may have noticed I did go over it twice with the light just because I didn't want it too dark, but I wanted to give it a little bit of dimension. So we're done with the Granny Apple Green. Now I'm going to go in with the light Bermuda Bay, and I'm just going to do this flower here, the big petally flower, and then I'm going to show you where I used the dark Bermuda Bay. So now I'm going to take the dark Bermuda Bay. I'm going to give that a second to dry. Now these are alcohol-based markers, so they do dry pretty quickly. But I also took the dark and I just did the bottom part of these flowers with the dark. And it only takes a second. And then now that this is dry a little bit, I'm just going to go into the center of that flower and then just over these lines. And this gives a little bit of shading to my flower. And then once that dries, we'll go back over it with the light again. But while that's drying, I'm going to take the light Flirty Flamingo and the brush tip end, and I'm just going to go over the rest of the flowers. Okay, now we're going to take the light Bermuda Bay, and I'm going to go back over my flower again, just to blend those 2 colors together. And then we're going to take the dark Flirty Flamingo and do a little bit of detailing to those flowers. I love coloring. I find it very relaxing. I also think of it as a form of self-care. It's like a bubble bath for me where I can just sit in my craft room and color away. So now we'll take the dark Flirty Flamingo and I'm just going to highlight the little part of these petals, the back part of these flowers, I should say. And then I'm going to go over parts of the bigger flowers. And then we'll go back over just the big flowers with the light. So that is it for coloring. The next step is I have the largest circle from the Stylish Shapes dies. There are circles, squares, some banners in here. I'm going to take this large circle and I'm just going to kind of center it. I'm going to use my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine to cut that out, and then we can put our card together. So now that I've die cut my circle, I also use that same large circle to die cut a piece of vellum. And I'm just going to take a little bit of seal. I'm going to put it right on the vellum. And I'm just going to like layer it over and kind of offset a little bit. I also have some of the Pretty Prints Designer Series paper. That's Bermuda Bay. I love this paper. It is very pretty. This is cut at 5 1/4 by 1 3/4. The Bermuda Bay is 5 1/2 by 2. All the measurements and details are on the blog post listed in the description of this video. I have this little piece of basic white here, and I'm just going to take the sentiment, Sending Love Your Way, from that stamp set, and some of this Memento ink. I'm just going to ink that up, and we're going to stamp on here. And you could stamp the inside of your card. This one I chose not to, but there are some cute little flowery stamps, little ones here that you could definitely use in maybe Bermuda Bay or Flirty Flamingo to decorate the inside of your card. And I just put a little bit of seal on this. And I think I might have the wrong size for this, but you know what? We're just going to go with it. It is the wrong size. It was supposed to be 3/4 and it's 1 inch. So it's just about the same size, but it's okay. We're going to go with it. Yours will look slightly different. Now I'm going to take the seal again and run it along this. Now this is the same length as our card base here. This is thick basic white. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold it in half and just line up my corners here before I press it down like that. And you might get a little bit of the white showing through, but it should be pretty flush with the card base. And then I'm going to take a few dimensionals and we're going to pop this sentiment and our flowers up. And don't throw the outsides of your dimensionals away. I like to cut these and use them, so I'll just take some scissors and cut them, and then you can use them on your projects. I'm just going to peel this off and kind of center it in the middle. And then we can peel off our sentiment. So yeah, it's a little bit different than this one, but it's okay. I like it. So before we finish our card, I have some of the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. These come in 5 colors. I believe this one is Smoky Slate. So I'm just going to do a double bow. And what I like to do is I take the twine, I double it up, and we're going to see how well I can do this. I might speed this part up because sometimes my fingers don't work to make a bow. We're going to double it up. And it worked on the first, oh no it didn't. And I made a knot. So you double it up and make a bow, and in theory you have a nice little bow and not a knot of a mess like I seem to have here. That's okay. We're going to just try it again. So and a lot of times too, when it gets like that, I like to just straighten it out with my fingers. I'm going to do it one more time. I do have a little knot at the bottom, which is fine because we're cutting that off anyways. Try one more time to make this bow. So that took me way longer than I wanted it to, but I do have a double bow now, and you will have like a loop here, and then you just cut it, and then I'm trimming my ends. If you want a more detailed explanation, I guess, of the double bow, I would Google it, because my fingers, it's easy, I swear it is, but my fingers don't work like that. So I have a hard time with bows. But now I'm just going to take a glue dot, and we're going to grab that glue dot and put it on our envelope here. And I'm just going to fix my tails of my bow a little bit there. And then the final step is I'm going to add some of these iridescent pearl basic jewels. Right now, until Saturday, October 1st, you can get these free with the purchase of one of 3 bundles for World Card Making Day. Check out the World Card Making Day link here in the description of this video for more on that. It's going to be super fun. I'm excited about it. And that is our card. So you can see this one's a slightly different. My bow here is a little wonky too. I just have a hard time with them. I know they're easy for a lot of people. I'm not one of those people, but that is our card. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time.